Hi friends, welcome back to another episode of Generation Films. My name is Alan. You know, one day, if we manage to survive all of this, there's a chance that we might run into another species of sentient alien beings. Did you know the United Nations actually has an office called the UN Office for Outer Space Affairs, and generally the head of that group, some astrophysicists, would be selected to communicate on behalf of all humanity if we do encounter aliens? Well, at least that's what's supposed to happen. I think it's much more likely that you, Steve, will accidentally become the ambassador for Earth, which is why it's probably a good idea to stop wearing bathrobes around the house all the time. I know the world has gone to hell, and pants have led to fascism time and time again in human history. Fact. But you don't want to give the alien overlords the wrong impression when you first meet them. You want to look your best. And there are all types of aliens that we can meet. Cool aliens, bad aliens, aliens that want to kill us, aliens that we want to kill, aliens that want to be friends with us, aliens that we want to make into pets. The list goes on. So today I thought I would go through humanity's wealth of, let's call them hypothetical first contact situations and point out some of the best ones. In the movie Contact, the entire world decides to build an extremely expensive machine so that Jodie Foster, or was it Helen Hunt, can see her dead father. It was the most anticlimactic and meh first contact scenario that undermined an otherwise interesting film, which is why we're not going to talk about it. If you want to talk about a completely crazy and confusing at the same time wonderfully beautiful first contact scenario, look no further than the film Annihilation. A meteor lands right next to a lighthouse near the southern coast of the United States, and in 3 years an odd shimmer begins to expand from around the meteor crater and continues to grow larger every day. Everything in the shimmer seems to be altered at their base genetic level. Whatever the shimmer was, it was combining the DNA of life forms together in the most complex and disturbing ways. A team of scientists sent into the shimmer found vegetation in the shape of humans, alligators with shark-like teeth, and a bear that learned how to cry like a human so that it can lure more prey towards it. Ultimately, every human that enters the shimmer experiences catastrophic changes to their own DNA. Most go crazy, most never make it out alive. I like this scenario because who says our first contact scenario with aliens is going to be with bipedal, kind of humanoid figures that can hold guns and wear armor and communicate with words? It's far more likely that any alien species we do encounter will be a much simpler organism, maybe something microscopic that we can't even see with our own naked eyes. Now, there's a good chance when aliens come, they will be super advanced, far more capable than we are in almost every way from a technological standpoint. There's a good chance that these aliens are not here for a peaceful exchange in culture and technology, and will most likely be able to know what their intentions are based on the size of their ships and where they place them. If it's just one smaller vessel, they could potentially be scouts or explorers or alien RVers. I don't know, that's probably a thing. But if the aliens come with multiple city-sized ships like they do in Independence Day, you gotta assume by that point that we're completely screwed. Even in a best-case scenario, if they are friendly and just wanted to see what we were up to, where the hell would we keep them? Who wants a District 9 scenario happening? No one wants prawns rampaging down the street breaking into houses for cat food. These are aliens, guys, not humans, which means they're not to be trusted, ever. And so when President Whitmore decides to carry out Operation Welcome Wagon and communicate with the aliens, it's a good idea but ultimately futile. If the aliens really wanted peace, why would they strategically position all of their gigantic ships over population centers? Let the record show we tried to be peaceful with the aliens in Independence Day, and they struck first. But the actual first contact scenario between a human and alien happens a bit later after USMC Captain Stephen Hiller engages alien fighters in an F-18. Although Captain Hiller's weapons are ineffective against the alien shields, the Marine pilot manages to force down one of the alien ships by ejecting a parachute straight into its path, while flying within the narrow confines of the Grand Canyon. Now, I don't know what the proper procedures are for a Marine pilot when they are shot down in the middle of a combat mission, but I'm pretty sure Captain Hiller went above and beyond the call of duty when he located the crashed alien ship, opened its hatch, and then personally welcomed the scumbag alien pilot to Earth by punching it in the face. It's important to set the tone when you encounter an entire new race of aliens. And it's especially important to remind them that without all of their crazy technology and flying saucers, we can still hurt them with our meat clubs attached to the end of our arms. The film Arrival tackles the very real problem of interpreting alien speech. The reality is that no matter how advanced we are or how advanced the aliens are, we might just not be able to figure out how to communicate. In this film's first contact scenario, instead of just sending some politicians or Marines, humanity decides to send a team of scientists to figure out what exactly the aliens want. Specifically, they send a linguist and a physicist. The alien in this case communicates through some kind of inky discharges that form some kind of meaning. And the scientists must rush to interpret what it means because several alien ships have landed all across the world, and other countries are rushing to decipher their own first contact scenarios. What is interesting here is that the aliens have somehow recognized that we are not a united species and that individual nation states are what hold the power on this planet. And without a united response, individual nations could accidentally cause irreparable damage between the aliens and humanity. This is actually a situation we do have to look at carefully. What role do nations have to play when aliens arrive on Earth? Before 2157, humans were peacefully expanding our territory beyond our local system. Now, one group of human explorers were attempting to reactivate an ancient FTL mass relay station called Relay 314. Humanity at the time had yet to make contact with any other alien species or the Citadel, which was an intergalactic alliance of the more reasonable species in the galaxy. Apparently, the Citadel had labeled Relay 314 as off-limits. You see, hundreds of years ago, a group of Solarians had accidentally opened a mass relay to an unknown system that was occupied by a terrifying hive mind alien race known as the Rachni. The Rachni invaded the galaxy, and that in turn forced the Citadel to turn to the Krogans to fight off the Rachni. Turns out sending the Krogan after the Rachni is similar to introducing a lion into your house after discovering a mouse problem. It's not a good idea. Anyway, another species known as the Turians happened to be around Relay 314 when humanity tried to reactivate it. Instead of contacting humanity, who clearly was unaware of the Citadel or any of its rules, the Turians just kind of opened fire on the humans. Luckily, one of the human ships does manage to get away and call for human reinforcements. Now, despite being on the defensive against an unknown alien species, humanity manages to hold its own and even destroys the Turian fleet, setting a strong tone for the conflict and letting the Turians know that we are not to be trifled with. The Turians would follow their defeat with an invasion of the human colony of Sanshi. Although they are initially able to take over the local garrison, humanity manages to retake it shortly after and uses the surviving Turians for fertilizer. Joking, their bodies actually have like metallic exoskeletons that covers it, and I'm pretty sure the proteins in their bodies are all wrong. I wouldn't want to put them in our food or soil or anything like that. When alien forces riding meteors land near 20 major coastal cities, humanity finds themselves caught in an extraterrestrial invasion. One of these coastal cities happens to be Los Angeles, which happens to have never been invaded by hostile forces since its creation. Now, Staff Sergeant Michael Nance is in command of a platoon of 2nd Battalion 5th Marines. They're located out of the FOB established at the Santa Monica Airport. His job is to coordinate civilian evacuations in the Santa Monica area, which the Air Force will carpet bomb in just about 3 hours. Things are not going very well on the ground. These Marines really don't have any time to consider the fact that they might be fighting alien species and not just normal combatants. These consummate professionals are far more concerned with the operation at hand, and they don't even seem to consider the fact that the aliens they face might have superior technology and armor. These Marines are acting as if they're just entering another military operation in an urban terrain. Except it's not MAZLAN, it's Santa Monica. And although the tension continues to build as the Marines enter the combat zone, once they're ambushed by a squad of alien gunmen and what looks like the equivalent of an alien RPG, the Marines are able to go straight to work. They locate the source of incoming fire and directly go into their own counter-ambush drill and begin returning fire. It makes me feel safe knowing that a Marine will not be distracted by the fact that they are interacting with an alien from another planet. A Marine will not be thinking about the consequences of his actions in a first contact situation. A Marine will be focused on their job of exterminating aliens with extreme prejudice. And that's because at the end of the day, these Marines are trained to be warriors first and operators of extremely complicated and expensive equipment second. It doesn't matter who they're fighting or what they're fighting with, as long as a Marine has a rifle in his hand, he will try to kill things that get in his way. So there you have it, guys. Those are 5 different first contact scenarios. As you can tell, in most situations, when we do encounter aliens, it is going to be hostile. So we have to be very vigilant and prepare our planet for the worst. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button so you don't miss out on the rest of our awesome content. As usual, my name is Alan, reminding you that life is a movie and you are the protagonist.